everyone, it's Danzy. Before we get started, this review does contain criticism of the show. So if you're looking for purely positive talking points, I recommend that you give this video a pass. This is also going to be a non-linear review that's light on recap, so I do recommend that you watch the episode beforehand so you know what's going on, and so that you can avoid spoilers. So with that out of the way, let's dive in. Well, for the second week in a row, Arya takes the top spot. Her first scene with Hot Pie was really good. I thought the joke they made about the butter was really funny, and Maisie Williams really hit these lines well, stuffing her face with food. I thought it was well done. However, what I really want to talk about is her second scene, which I thought was honestly the best moment the show has had in years. In fact, it might even be one of my favorite moments from the show ever. I thought this was so good that I'm going to give it the highest possible compliment I can, which is that I hope Arya reuniting with Nymeria happens exactly like this in the books, too. It was perfect. It was perfect in every way. I'm begging the writers to please let this be the final bittersweet goodbye between these two. Don't wreck this by having them meet up again. Leave it beautifully completed the way it is. It's 100% the right ending for Nymeria. See, I'm really torn about this scene. On the one hand, it featured the best acting moment of the episode, and probably the most tasteful sex scene to date for this show. It had far more emphasis on the characters than just, making sure the audience got money shots of tits. I actually think it should be a benchmark for how the show tackles all its nudity scenes from now on. So, yeah, I liked the scene. In fact, I liked it so much, it sucks that I now have to express what a complete waste of time it was. Look, in a world where seasons of the show are 20 episodes long, I would absolutely fight for scenes like this, but I just can't when main characters like Bran are being denied screen time. It feels mean saying this because these two characters are perfectly fine, I've always liked them, but their feelings shouldn't get priority over those that were being denied. If you want an emotional scene, then why not show Mira and Bran talking about all they've been through together since they were last at Winterfell, or Sansa and Brienne reminiscing about Catelyn, or even just extend the scene with Jon in the crypts where he talks to Ned's statue or something. Maybe if the scene was half as long I wouldn't have minded, but as it stands, this just didn't merit existing. Tyrion's logic is extremely flawed here. You won't attack King's Landing with the dragons because tens of thousands of innocent people will die. So you're going to surround the city and cut off its food intake. That's probably gonna kill more people, right? And a siege like this could last literally years. You're going to waste resources and prolong the suffering of many, many people. Starving out the city might involve less direct violence, but don't pretend it's more ethical. You can frame it like it's the noble choice all you want, but it's really, really not. I don't know, this scene just left me a little underwhelmed. It would be cool if everyone in the room offered up a unique plan and they constructed something out of that, but instead Tyrion just gets to come up with the whole thing by himself off screen. There's no interesting brainstorming or meaningful input from the other characters, which I think is a shame, because you have a lot of different vantage points from around Westeros here. I do want to touch on Daenerys' scene with Varys, though, which I thought was really good. She gets challenged on the fact that she will have an uphill battle trying to win favor with a realm that remembers full well what her father did to them. I like this. It's a frank discussion on leadership that I think was really needed in her storyline. Does anyone else feel kinda bad for the Lords of Westeros right now? They're stuck between siding with a woman who burns people or a woman who burns people. It can't be easy. I was also sort of hoping that Qyburn's plan to kill the dragons was going to be a bit more creative than just shoot them in the face, but I guess I'm just not feeling a lot of tension for the upcoming conflict right now. Unless Cersei can pull out something huge, she's pretty boned. Her only hope I can think of at this point is that Daenerys overcommits to fighting the White Walkers. I'm not sensing that ballistas are really gonna do it for them. It's nice to see Sam return to being Sam again. I was a little worried about him last year. He's a good person who absolutely would help someone out if he thought he could. It's just a very Sam thing to do, we know this. That being said, We really didn't need long close-ups of him peeling off Jorah's pussy scabs while he held back screams. This was pretty blatant torture porn. There's no reason he wouldn't just give him milk of the poppy. It's a micro example of what I mean by this show's problem with empty shock value, ignoring common sense in order to artificially make something more horrific. I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me a little nervous going forward. Okay, so you know the part of the scene where Sansa tells Jon that he should send an emissary to Dragonstone because it might be a trap? Well, I'd like to present to you a scene from an alternate universe where Jon, who isn't King of the North, goes as an emissary for Queen Sansa, because it makes more sense for a representative to go instead of the reigning leader. He could even be all, "No, you're too important, let me do this for you in case it's a trap." Does anyone else think it would make way more sense if they had planned it out this way? I feel like I can't be the only one. Okay, but for real though, Jon is being really, really dumb here. People are going to give this a free pass because we as the audience know he's going to be fine, but he as a character could in no way be aware of that. At least have him pretend to have reservations about this. He has even more reason to stay if he's so worried about Littlefinger being left alone with Sansa. This felt like such a, well, the plot says I need to go to Dragonstone, so I'm off to Dragonstone. Then the real kicker is that Davos needs to spell out to him that dragons would be valuable in fighting against the White Walkers. Did I miss a plot point where he suffered brain damage during the Battle of the Bastards? Give Jon a little credit here, writers. He's not stupid. Alright, 3 things I want to talk about here. 2 bad and 1 good. Continuing on with the precedent set by Loras, the 2 queer characters have to, by law, start having sex with each other as soon as they're alone. So nice of them to make an effort to represent the LGBT community and not shamelessly use this as a trailer shot. The next thing is Euron, who has completely changed characters again. This is mind-bogglingly inconsistent. He's gone from quiet assassin to boring guy who makes dick jokes to drunken pirate, and now, probably the most lazily, Ramsay 2.0. The only way they can hope for the audience to like him is by getting him to kill off characters that everyone hates. But of course everyone hates them. You wrote them to have 0 redeeming qualities. Anyone who killed them was going to win points. This isn't character development, it's tricking your audience into grading him on a curve. The last thing I want to touch on is actually something that I liked about this scene, which was Theon. A lot of people seem to really hate that he just ran off at the end there. But I'm kind of glad that they didn't just write off his PTSD last year. Trauma is more complex than someone telling you to just get over it, so I'm glad he didn't suddenly become unaffected by violence. If you're someone who thought he was being cowardly, I do encourage you to look at what he did from the eyes of an abuse victim. His actions might seem more understandable if you consider what he's been through. Also, holy shit, someone get this man an Emmy! In contrast to last week's episode, which stayed pretty middling in quality, this week's episode was more of a roller coaster. There was something I liked in pretty much every single scene, but there was almost always something paired with it that just didn't work for me. There's some red flags that have me worried they're slipping back into a bad place. However, I also am seeing glints of hope that maybe they're turning a corner from seasons 5 and 6, so we'll see. But, as always, I want to hear what you guys thought, so let me know in the comments. Also be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video if you enjoyed it, and if you want to further support the channel, head on over to my Patreon, where you can even get some cool rewards for donating. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon!